Yeah, so they made ways to meet. So now 41 healthy babies were born. Yes, 41 healthy babies were born, but unfortunately they were taken away from their parents by force, and they were put on the mainland for adoption, so they never got the chance to see their parents again. Then now in 1931, all the leper buildings were demolished. The leper colony was finally closed in 1931, and all the leper buildings were demolished because now there was a fear that the disease will spread. So the authorities decided to demolish all the buildings. But fortunately, we've got only one building left. I'll show you along the way.
Okay, sit there.
It's a leper graveyard. Cape Town, Robben Island, Cape Town.
Look at the prison. We have the maximum security prison for the political prisoners, and then the medium security prison for the convicts, of which I'll show you along the way. And this is the smallest prison, which was made for one man only. That man was Robert Mangaliso. Yes, who was born. Yes, who was born on the 5th of December, 1924, in a small town called Gafrenet. So Mr. Sobukwe studied in the University of Forte, and that is where he met the likes of Forte, and that is where he met the likes of Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Govan Mbeki, Clarence Makwetu, and the list is endless. So now together they formed the political party youth league known as the ANC, African National Congress Youth League. But then in 1959, Mr. Sobukwe decided to break away from the ANC, and he formed his own political party known as the PAC, Pan-Africanist Congress, because now he had his own ideas of how to rule this country. And now, ladies and gentlemen, during the apartheid era here in South Africa, the government that was in charge, it was known as the National Party, or the NP. So now they introduced laws here in South Africa, such as the Group Areas Act and the others. And now there was this strict law here in South Africa that was known as the pass laws, of which every black African in South Africa had to carry a small booklet known as Dom Pass. Dom is an African word meaning stupid in English. Yes. So now every black African had to carry that booklet everywhere they own country. And now if you are caught without that booklet, you were arrested and put in jail for 6 months. Or now you had to pay a 60 rand fine, of which that time 60 rand was too much to make if you were black. You had to work for 3 months in order to make that 60 rand. And now Mr. Sobukwe was the man who was totally against the pass laws. He then told everyone to gather together in the nearest police stations to protest against the pass laws and demand arrest. That happened on the 21st of March 1960. It was meant to be a peaceful march. People came in their numbers in towns such as Langa and Sharpeville. Yes, many people remember the Sharpeville massacre, of which now 69 people were shot dead. Some of them were shot on their backs when they were running away. 180 were injured and thousands were arrested that day, the 21st of March 1960. We now celebrate the 21st of March in South Africa as the Human Rights Day in the honor of Mr. Sobukwe and for all those who didn't make it through the struggle. Now, Mr. Sobukwe was also arrested that day and taken to Pretoria prison to serve 3 years. He was then charged with incitement. Oh, please, please, you're disturbing me. Sorry. So now Mr. Sobukwe was also arrested and taken to Pretoria prison to serve 3 years. He was then charged with incitement. And now while he was in prison, the cabinet then sat down and they discussed his future. So they came up with a clause, the Sobukwe clause, saying that Mr. Sobukwe must be arrested anywhere he goes without any questioning, and that he was not going to be given any trial because he seemed to be very powerful and very heavy. And after spending 3 years in Pretoria prison, Mr. Sobukwe was released, walking from the streets of Pretoria thinking that he was free. But the Sobukwe clause appeared again. He was re-arrested again, and this time he was brought into this island. And the house that you see, the small house with a tank of water and a red roof, it is where he was kept in isolation for 6 years. And now there were guards watching him 24 hours. He was not allowed to communicate with the guards. He was not allowed to go beyond the fenced area that you see, but he got the privilege to read the newspapers, read the books, and he was even eating any time of the security prison. Did is that they put a small radio inside the Sobukwe house so that Mr. Sobukwe can listen to the news every day. The riot is mainland so that he can be affected because Mali was the one who started the march and everything. And because only time that the government decided to bring his family to come and see me for 2 weeks, think that he will get better, but Mr. Sobuka's health never got better, it worsened. And then again, they decided to release him from the island because now they feared that he was going to die on their own hands and they didn't want to be blamed. So Mr. Sobuk was released from the island after spending 6 years, now a very sick man, walking from the streets of Cape Town, thinking that he was free at last again, but the Sobuka clause reappeared again. Mr. Sobuk was rearrested again, yes, now a very sick man. This time he was taken to a place called Kimberley in a small